Hey y'all, it's Ashley, and in today's video I want to show you what I do when I get a new watercolor palette, or if I make a watercolor palette, because there's certain things that I like to do that, some people don't even think about doing. And so anyways, today I'm just going to share and show you what I like to do. Well, some of it I'm going to share and some of it I'm going to show you. So let's just get straight into it. So I have a few, these are some watercolor palettes that I have. And I do want to do a separate video on, oops, it's moving. I like to do a separate video on all my watercolor palettes and things like that. And because I feel like it's very educational in a bit, also just, what I like to put together for watercolor palettes. And you can already see a sneak peek. This was the one I brought with me to Italy. I actually brought two with me. I brought this one, and I made it specifically for bringing to Italy. And I couldn't help but bring a second one because I knew that there's like certain colors. So, I do a lot of floral and things like that. And so I made sure I got more pinks, and then I also, plopped in some blues there, even though I had some over here. But just looking at these palettes, you can see that I made a swatch card for my palettes, because I feel like it's important to know what color, it is you're about to use. And so I like to write out, so I just organized this. I think this is about like ½ an inch, yeah. And I wrote down the brand and then the name of the color. And then I did the same over here. So these are the two ones that I brought with me to Italy. And it's funny, I went to Italy with 2 palettes, and I came back with 2 more. So I made this one when I was there. I picked up some Schmink May watercolors because I was on Pinterest a long time ago, and there's these colors that they swatched different colors with, and I just thought those colors were amazing, and I wanted to try them for myself. And so when I went to Italy, I told myself that this is the time, I should just get these colors that I want. And so that's what I did. And it wasn't until I was home that I made a swatch card. I think there is a video. I'll link it up here if I can find it. But anyways, yeah, I just wrote out, it's Schmink May, and then the different colors that I put into it. I think I did add like 2 extra colors that wasn't on the palette that I found. But yeah, I think it was burnt sienna and one of these pink colors. But anyways, yeah, so I brought home this one, and it was funny because I actually bought the colors I think I bought the colors at 2 separate stores. One was Zecchi's, and then the other was this other random one. And then I got the palette at Zecchi's as well. So, talking about Zecchi's, this is a, I guess I'm going through some of my watercolor palettes, but this is colors that originally made in Italy. And so this palette was Zecchi's, their like actual brand of watercolor. And I think you can get it online, but at like certain places. But anyways, I couldn't help but not walk away with this. Wait, that's right. I couldn't not walk away with this. Or I couldn't not. Yeah, I couldn't walk away without it. So this was a birthday present I gave to myself. But anyways, so I made a swatch card, and this card is a little different from the other ones because I just did squares. But yeah, y'all get the gist. You know, I like to make a good swatch card. And then once I make a swatch card, I do like to start mixing the colors together. And so that's what I'm going to do here today with these ones. I have my, this is Stonehenge Aqua Cold Press, 100% cotton, acid free. It's by Legion, but I absolutely love this paper. I actually brought this pad with me when I went to Italy, so it worked really well for my site. So here I'm just making the template of the chart that I'm going to do, and I'm doing, as you can see, 1/2 inch squares. And I think I do say this in my next clip, but I do make an extra row so that I can put the original colors on both sides as well as down the center, because I just decided I wanted to do that instead of doing little dots. You can do whatever you please, actually. It doesn't really matter. This is just what I did for I also want to say that if your angles are off or anything like that, you know, it's totally fine. This is just a reference for you to use when you're using your paints, so that when you're painting a certain painting, you can be like, oh, I need this color, and you can look at this chart and know which colors made it to make your life a whole lot easier. Okay, so before we get started, I have taken my kneaded eraser and I've kind of lightly erased some of the markings in the chart, because I just don't want a lot of them showing, but I lightly did it off camera just because I'll shake like the whole camera and things like that, and so I just didn't want that. So anyways, I went and grabbed 2 jars of water. One is to clean your brushes and the other is for water. I don't have that much space to mix on this palette here, so I've gone ahead and grabbed another, this is a cover to my acrylic pan that I use for my acrylics, and so I'm just going to use the cover of this to mix, and I put like a white watercolor thing underneath it so that I know the colors. So I guess all we need to do is spray our colors, get them nice and juicy, and we can get started. So I did start one of these the other day and I messed up, and so I want to show y'all how I messed up. So this is what we'll be making. And one side will be, you'll mix less water, and one side you'll mix more water, so you get a light and a darker tone. Now I messed up on this because I accidentally put the colors, the original colors, on the side right here when I meant to leave a space for the yellow, because if I should have added one more square to this if I was gonna do the colors like this, because I needed space for that yellow. But what we're gonna do is so these colors, I have 11 and I have 12 here, so I might use an extra row for my colors, and I'll leave this spot right here blank, so that this spot will be the yellow. So yellow, yellow, yellow makes yellow. So yeah, so let's just get started. So I am going down the row with just regular colors, and I'm just mixing just a good enough water with it. This row doesn't necessarily needs to be like 50/50 as well. It's just the colors in their original form. All right, y'all, so I have put in our middle line of our colors, and I kind of just took them out and then added a little water, so they're not like highly, like some aren't as light, or some are light, but like, you know what I mean. So I didn't really specify for the middle part of if I wanted it darker or lighter. I kind of just tried to keep it in a middle tone. So I've already gone ahead, and so I left this spot white so that we can put our colors on the side as well. Sometimes you can do little dots if you want to. I just figured since I had the extra row, I might as well. So if you're doing your own chart like this, make sure that you leave an extra row if that's what you want to do. But anyway, so I've gone ahead and I've done the yellow bit, and so to do these, on this side I add more pigment than water, and then this side I add more water than pigment. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to let this dry so that when I go into the next spot, that it's going to be it won't bleed together, because I just hate it when that happens. So anyways, we will what we're doing is we're mixing the two colors together. So on everything else for this square, we're just mixing the colors together. So so for each row, so once we put the colors down up here, each row, so this one will be this pink and the yellow, so that color would be there, as well as right here, the pink and yellow, because you're basically just matching up the colors. And so this side will be darker and this side will be lighter. So really you're just having two of the same colors on each side, but with different amounts of water. So here I decide to do a skipping around method. And I skip the square, or I skip, right here as you can see I'm not skipping one square, but next I'm going to skip each square. And you're going to make sure that you get the right color on the right row, because, you know, I've done that before where I've messed up like that, and it's super annoying. But this is just a great way for y'all to practice mixing your colors and figuring out what colors work well together and which colors don't. And if you need like a shadow color, you know, you add the color that's opposite on the color wheel. And this is just practice, and so you can figure out which colors. I'm repeating myself, but y'all get the gist. You know, you're just you're figuring out what colors work well together. So now I've pulled out my palette here, and this is one of my favorite parts, is mixing the colors and seeing what colors work really well together. And I also want to recommend using a really good paper when you're mixing your colors, just because it'll help make the colors shine more. I've realized there's Strathmore watercolor paper, and I got it in sheets, and I thought it would be amazing to use, and it really wasn't. And so if you're really looking for high quality products for your watercolors, I really recommend, it's glitching a bit, that's weird. I really recommend venturing out and maybe try Arches, or this cold press is really good. Fluid has a 100% cotton line that's really good too. But yeah, paper matters, and plus your brushes matter too. I'm using these Princeton brushes, Ochre Elite Princeton brush. I really love these round ones, and I'm pretty sure I'm using a a 6 or a 4. But towards the end of the video, you'll notice that I do switch my brush to a angled brush. And that'll help me get more of a square instead of like coloring in the square. And I also want to mention, when I'm doing the lighter side, as you can see with the purple, I just, I laid the color down, and then I take my brush, and this is one of the important things about getting a good brush, is that you want a brush that can hold water really well, and that can lift water really well. Because on the lighter side, I realized the color looked a little dark, and so that's why the purple is going to be very, very light. It's because I lifted up that pigment with my brush after I dried it. And I do go back to that purple and I fix it because I noticed it was going to bother me throughout the whole thing because I'm just that kind of person. But, ooh, that's a little glitchy. But as you can see, I'm getting to the browns. And as well, I do want to mention that there are many different ways, to mix your colors and how much pigment you put in each color. And so if that lighter color of the pink is too light or too yellow, you can add more of the other pigment and you can get a totally different color, and it'll move, the color. And so sometimes some of these might be a little leaning towards more, of the two colors. So if I'm mixing two colors, one might lean more, red than yellow, or run more green than blue. And that's just your mixing methods. Now these earth tones are really pretty. I really love these earth tones. But yeah, that is basically it, I believe. You're just, mixing these colors and you're playing with the, what you can get with them. And that's what's really good with a limited palette, is that, as you can see, I don't have purples on this palette. I don't have greens, I just have my primary colors. And I don't think I mentioned this, but I do have, in this palette, there's the primary colors. And I also put in the earth tones, the yellow ochre, and burnt sienna, and that Venetian Red. I think that's a burnt umber and Payne's gray. And the other side are our primaries. And this is a great limited palette if you're not looking to carry something around that's, so big with a lot of colors. And yeah, see, I'm switching to a different brush here. And sorry, I got distracted, but anyways, you get what I'm talking about, how each color is different. Each color is different. Oh my gosh, y'all. You can tell it's a Monday. You can definitely tell. So, yeah, so with the primaries, I didn't need 2 pinks, but when I was in the store, I really loved that other pink. So I got it. But you can switch out these colors for anything or any other color if you would like. This is just the palette that I created from that Pinterest board, which I will link below if y'all would like it. Also, if you want me to link my Pinterest boards as well, I can do that too. Just let me know in the comments if you would like to see maybe a video about my Pinterest boards. That would be helpful too. So yeah, I'm just getting along on this painting of this chart. I also want to mention, if y'all would like a print of this, if you really like the way that it looks or anything like that and you want a print, let me know in the comments as well, because my best friend mentioned that she wants a print because she loves the way it looks. So I might make prints, so let me know if you would buy one if I make them, or even if I just put it on Pinterest as well, I could do that. But now I'm getting closer to the end. I've only got 3 more rows to go. And these colors are just so pretty. It's so like satisfying watching just the mixing colors, and it's amazing. And those oranges and browns. Oh, I wiped it away. Thanks, Ashley. But yeah, and so I didn't put a black, I put a Payne's gray in here. And I really love, you see that mixture I just made? It's really dark. And so you can get really good darks with just mixing 2 colors together. And it's more organic that way than just using a straight black. And so that's why I like to use other colors than black. Because Payne's gray turns more blue than a pure black. And that's why I like it. So we're getting close to the end here. And this was filmed over a week, I believe, which is crazy to say. Oh, and these colors also, I want to mention, some are more opaque than others. Usually it says it on the pan or the tube. And keep in mind with that as well as you're painting, because you might not want it to be that opaque. You might not want it that thick. So just remember to mix more water with it. But here we are getting close. We have 2 more colors left. And then I'll get back to you for more on some glazing and stuff. Whoops, I said that I'll see you in a little bit. Here I'm back. But I'm doing a little rainbow transition for y'all. Some of it is cut off. But what am I doing? Oh, I'm mixing colors. Oh, the rainbow one was the one I had to take away because you couldn't see what I was doing. But I'm showing you how much water you can add to a pigment to make it, lighter. I also wanted to share how, so we did, the mixing. This is my my Schminkme watercolor palette. So we did mixing, and we also did some gradients. But I want to show y'all the another way you can mix your paints, and that is by just glazing, and that's just putting paint on top of the paint. So I'm going to take my yellow, and I'm just going to do a layer. But that's kind of green. I'm going to do a few. Then I'm going to do a lighter. So I'm adding more water to get it to be lighter. I also learned that to get it even lighter, you can, well, I know you can always do this, but I realized that I really liked the effect that I got while making it lighter. Just this way. There we go. So we're just gonna let this dry for a bit, and then I'll get back to you. But I do want to mention that the paper I am using today is Arches cold press. This is the block, but the block that the pages move like that instead of all the way around. So we'll just let this dry for a bit, and then we'll come back. Okay, now that I've waited a little bit, we're gonna glaze over. So let's just start with just start with these colors. This is the Madder Red Dark. Kind of just went right over it. This is so you can see how the colors will react to your color, so that if you can just, you know, put it on top and not have to mix them on your palette. Ooh, I like that. That was really nice. This is Indigo. So that was a little. Ultramarine here. Here's Cerulean. Let's do a little ochre. This last one. This one's looking great too. But yeah, that's all it takes. So now you can see how the colors blend together. And you can even do I have so much fun with this. And I think you can even like, I don't even think you have to wait. Like if you don't want to, you can just go ahead and layer them up. See how they look together? Let's do a yellow. But glazing is when you're waiting for it to completely dry. Let's do like purples. I only have 2 colors of red, so that's why I'm doing 2 sections of each color. I'm just gonna put it on top of it. And it's cool how it does that gradient thing. This one didn't do a lot. this color, which is Rose Madder. It's kind of like a very light pink. I think this is one of my favorite colors in the palette. I love just mixing colors. Ooh, got some, here's our storms. This is a really pretty color. Just mixing some colors together. And this is like kind of like a gradient you can do. There we go.